Hi guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner, and I'm back with another design team video. This is going to be for the card kit of the month from Spellbinders, and there is so much stuff in this kit. Oh my goodness. Everything is birthday theme. So we've got, I know you guys already saw the unboxing and everything, but if you didn't, I will leave a card up over here so that you can see that. But there's so much stuff in here, and it's all basically for birthdays. Plus I don't even have out the ephemera. So I'm basically going to start off using the die and stamp set that are in this kit to kind of be a starting point, and who knows where it's going to lead. Got a ton of sentiments, and I went ahead and stamped those out a couple of times, most of them anyway. Plus there is this little birthday candles stamp in here as well. So that's kind of sort of my starting point, and I went ahead and cut out the cute party hat that goes along with it too. And while I was cutting things out, I made a discovery. When I cut out, I basically ran everything through once, and here is the bigger piece. And then I cut out the insert, not realizing it was an insert, so it just cut out the spaces, which I could probably use that for something else, but I went back and cut a second one. So what I'm going to start off with is putting together my little party hat, and think how I'm going to do it, because I want the stripes to be over the yellow like this. But I don't really need all this excess cardstock, so I'm just going to trim off right at that line. There's an embossed line there, so I'm going ahead and cutting that off. And then I can just adhere this over the top. And I can still have it bend a little bit if I want to on the card. Haven't decided if that's how I'm going to do it or not, but we'll go ahead and put this part together. And I figure red and yellow are some fun, happy colors together, so that is what I'm going to use this time. Just running my glue along that edge, and then down a couple of the stripes to hold them in place pretty well too. And I can just put the insert, or rather the piece that does not have the stripy insert on there. Okay. Next we have this little fringe. So the fringe is for the bottom, and then we've got this other fringe that is supposed to be for the pom-pom. So I'm gonna give that a try and see if I can figure out how to get that one together, because it's basically an angled fringe. So that should go on pretty easily, but I want to make sure I can get that one together, so we shall see how that one works. Go ahead and adhere our little fringe to the bottom of our hat and let that dry. And then all we need to do for this part to have it adhere to the card is to fold back on our score lines. I'll go ahead and fold that back on both sides. And then if we want it to basically have a little bit of a curve, give a little bit of dimension, we just squeeze the ends a little bit before we adhere it down. So that part is all done. Next, I need to work on our little pom-pom. So I decided to look at the instructions and see if it had anything about how to do that little pom-pom. So it says to die cut and roll from the long end to the short end and glue. So I've got my glue over here ready to go. And I'm putting my tweezers down on the end that is the longest. So it's got the widest end, and I'm just going to roll that up. So I'm going to just start rolling and trying to keep it down closer to the bottom where it's solid, so that these have a chance to kind of start spreading out a little bit. Let me add a little bit of glue. Okay. Okay. I'm going to hold it for a second so that that adhesive has a chance to really grab hold. I'm going to start just kind of trying to flake some of these out and spread them out. Okay, I like the idea of having this just kind of curved a little bit, so I'm going to mount this onto another piece of cardstock and then trim it down. And I'm going to also make sure that it is going to pop up a little bit in the center by adding a little bit of foam right down the middle, and then adding my glue to this. And you could definitely do this on the front of your card base or card panel, but I've got another little idea that I want to try in just a minute. Okay, let's get this adhered down. I'm first holding it down on one side and then letting it curve a little bit. Just going to give it a little bit of dimension. There we go. And I'm just going to hold it in place long enough for that to catch. And then just trimming right along all of those edges. So there's that piece, and it does have that just slight curve. You can see that. So this is some of the pattern paper. This is some of the balloon pattern paper that was in the pack. I am loving that little party hat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add that onto the front of this card using a DIY action wobbler. If you'd like to see how to make some of those, I will leave a link up in the cards here as to how I've done them in the past. I do need to make some more, and that way I can use them up on some cards, because that is such a fun interactive element. Just adding a little bit of my art glitter glue to both the back and the front of the wobbler so I can get that all attached down, and then I'm going to just position my little hat a little bit off to the side. Okay, so I just finished up putting this card together. Like I've done so many times before, I accidentally didn't hit the record button. I've got this guy on an action wobbler, and I managed to put his little pom-pom up at the top. This is too cute. Added the sentiment and a few flowers. And I may add some sequins, haven't decided yet for sure, but I still think this one is super fun for now. Next, I can go and start working on the next card. I'm going to go ahead and mount this piece of pattern paper onto my black cardstock and then trim it down so I've got that little tiny border. And then I'll mount that onto my card base. And then I can add my ephemera to the front. And I think I'm going to pop these guys up on some foam. At least at least the cake. The cake needs to be popped up. It's going to be a little bit in front of the gift. That looks kind of cool with cake kind of in the middle. Add some glue to the back of the first one. Okay, and then my second one. And then I can add my cake. And now I've also went ahead and cut out a couple of sentiments. So I've got "Hey Birthday Girl." I think that would look pretty cute. And for this, I kind of want to bring that black into the inside of the card too. So I'm going to put a little bit of this black cardstock bordering my sentiment down at the bottom. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to trim the edges. Now that I like that. That's gonna look good. Let me go ahead and add a little bit more. Actually, I think I'm gonna put it on this pattern paper. Just enough room for it to have a little tiny border on the edges. See, when you've got some of these fun patterns and such, there's so many things you could do with this set. And I'm going to put this one across. And then add the whole thing to the inside of the card. And that finishes up my second card. For my last card, I am basically just picking out a couple of pieces of pattern paper, and I'm going to use that to make my card. This one has fun candles, and then we've got this pink background. So I'm going to cut this one down to 5, and then this one down to 3 3/4. Still gives me plenty of pretty pattern paper to use on another card. If I was at 5 for the first one, then I want this one to be 4.5 wide, and that still gives me plenty of background for my little candles. So this one is going to be 4.5, and that's going to give me about a 1/4 inch around of this. Do I want more? I think I do want more. If I do 4, that still leaves me room. Okay, so I'm going to do this one at 4. This is going to be 4 inches wide, and then three and a quarter. I'm also going to do that thin black border, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this down onto my black cardstock, and then I can trim that down. I've got a sentiment here I'm going to put right below this, and this would make a real pretty card by itself. So this sentiment says, I wish I were there to celebrate with you. I'm going to have that just centered underneath the candles. And then I think I'm going to add a couple of these cute little embellishments included in the kit. So let's grab a couple of those. This one is a little one. And I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back, because sometimes stickers don't stick as well as I would like. So put that one here. Okay. So I am going to go with that and say that this card is done. So here are the 3 cards that I made for today's video. One is this is this fun action wobbler with the party hat. I am loving it. Then we've got this one with the birthday cake. This is just some of the ephemera that was in the pack. And of course I put a little sentiment on the inside, and then another one using the ephemera and that same stamp set with all of the fun little candles. And that means you can make a ton of cards just using the stuff that's in this kit of the month. So if you want to see some more videos where I'm using some other Spellbinders products, be sure to check out this playlist. You guys have a wonderful day, and remember, if I can make it, you can too. See you next time.